Welcome to the Feudal Anime Podcast. I'm Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we're talking about Assassination Classroom again, but this time it's part 2 because of season 2.
Now, I personally found season 2 to be, I'm not quite sure how to put it. It's fantastic, but it is a little bit long-winded.
I would agree.
It took a while.
I would agree.
It took a while to get where they were going.
Yeah, I would agree. It is a little bit long-winded. And honestly, I was a little let down. I mean, I expected so much more from the end.
In what manner?
In every aspect. I mean, I love that it gave it closure. Just in general, like how the characters are, they're basically all locking arms, singing Kumbaya type of thing. You know, like sitting there cleaning up the mountain, taking their life lessons as assassins and everything like that, moving forward in life. And I get that, but how they killed him off, I mean, like, I get it. I understand it. It just didn't jive with me.
Really? See, that right there, that's what you're talking about, where they killed him off, was the whole reason I wanted you to watch the episode, the series, the show. Because, dude, when that hit me, it felt so bad because I was so sure they were going to get everything right. I was so sure everything was going to find an appropriate, in my opinion, conclusion. And then when their appropriate conclusion was killing the teacher, you're like, but no, you spent the previous 40-something episodes making me fall in love with this guy, showing how endearing this dude is, showing his really messed up backstory in season 2, and you just gotta go ahead and like have him not only accept his fate, but like, what? No, he's helping. Now, granted, I'm pleased he decided to save the world. I'm pleased all this other stuff. But when they, with that last ditch effort, I forget what episode it was, but they're like, we're gonna save him. Screw it. We're gonna have a battle royale for the entire class. And the winner gets to decide who wants to say if we save or kill. And you're like, after all the build-up, there's still no other choice than to stick a knife through his heart.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's it. That's the thing. I wasn't happy that they decided to kill him off like that at all. I was expecting so much more from it. I didn't expect him to be killed off in that manner. I expected him to die, but I didn't expect him to be killed off. He's laying there because he's just finished saving everyone. He's like, all right, guys, go ahead, climb on my tentacles. You can do it. Kill me. And they kill him because they're never going to stop. I expected him wholeheartedly to die in battle, saving them. That was my expectation. And instead, he
really?
That was the whole expectation, especially during the final battle. Especially during the final battle between him and his protege, who became the Reaper before him. That was my whole expectation, that he would die battling him to save the kids, pure and simple. But that wasn't the case. What he ended up doing was just laying there and letting them stab him.
See, that was the kindest thing I think he could have done. He did roll call. So he did roll call, and it was his final act as a teacher. And the backstory they give you on this is just heart-wrenching. Like, he was the world's most elite assassin who was, of course, betrayed because that happens. And he ends up becoming this thing that everyone absolutely thinks is evil. And he's just trying to do right by someone who showed the least amount of human interaction and human sympathy. And yes, granted, he failed with his protege. He was teaching his protege how to be a killer, how to be an assassin, but he would never recognize him, which drove his protege to the limit that he ended up going to just be better. And in the end, it wasn't strength that won the day. It wasn't cunning. It was experience. And that goes a long way to explain, like in real life, you can say, hey, no matter how strong you are, if you don't know how to throw a punch, you don't have the experience to knock someone out, you're not going to want to fight.
I get that. I understand that. But what
you were expecting what to be mutual destruction between the two of them?
No. I expected the battle to be done in such a way that he died not at the hands of the kids, not at the hands of the children, but as a result of the battle. And yes, he was tired as a result of the battle. I get that. They climbed on him. They wanted to give a closure like that. I understand that. But it doesn't even have to be like a mutual destruction. It just has to be, I expected it to be something similar to that. But that's me. It was still a great anime. It was still had a great ending. It gave a great conclusion. I just felt like the ending left me wanting more from it.
My reasoning for liking the way that the anime ended, especially with his death, and the satisfaction I feel from not having it end in that final battle, it mainly comes from I really wouldn't want the main character to die from a student who, when boiled down, is simply saying, "Notice me, senpai." It's just, that would be so unsatisfactory.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that.
So
that would be unsatisfactory completely. I mean, obviously, if they had left the ending open, I would have been really disappointed in it. I would have,
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I like that there is bookends on this.
Yes,
it's a closed.
It gave an opening. It gave a closing. It did that. Another thing that I really enjoyed about this is that he was under the assumption that he would blow up, and that's one of the things you really learn about early on that I liked, is when they were going through the testing and everything like that, he didn't actually destroy the moon. He just, it was a little mouse that actually was undergoing the exact same testing procedures as him on the moon, and that mouse blew up because of antimatter, and it did that to the moon. He decided to make himself the target because he understood from what everyone was saying in the test lab that he had a year, which was in March, for him to live, and then he would blow up. And that is why you learn, that is why he said, "I will be here. You have to kill me by March. Otherwise, I'm going to destroy the Earth." It's not that he was saying he would destroy the Earth because he wanted to. He was going to destroy the Earth because he had no choice but to destroy the Earth when he died. And the only way to save it was to be killed.
Yeah. And the reason for the class was that person who gave him aid and gave him some form of human interaction was a teacher. And she reminiscently spoke about Class E, and in this particular thing, and it's like, if I could just do that one thing where I saved this one class, I would be satisfied. And he took that up. I think, didn't he kill her on accident?
No, he didn't kill her. So what she did was she was coming up to him because he destroyed the building, destroyed everyone because he was upset and about being, he's like, "I am going to die anyways. Screw it." And as she was coming up, she accidentally set off a sensor with one of the with a trap that ended up spearing her or shooting through her, and that's why she was dying. It wasn't because he attacked her. It's because she accidentally stepped on a trap and then
intended for him.
Yeah, and she got killed. Which,
man,
when you think about it, like, because her sister towards the very end ends up getting almost killed as well. He is, because of his continual training, because even during the class he even references this. He's like, "I am continually trying to better myself, trying to get better, trying to get smarter with everything that I do." He eventually got to the point to where if he had that capability there that he had when he was saving the teacher's sister, the teacher would have still been alive.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It was a learning process. It helps re-emphasize the trope, if you will, that the teacher always learns. So the teacher's learning just like the students are learning. So you can have a perpetually better teacher. It's the ideal teacher, that they don't come out of the academy thinking they know everything. Whereas it's a learning process for both teacher and student. The whole, sometimes I think I wonder who taught more, me or you. Yeah, BS.
And one of the things, I have to say, one of the things I liked about the first season more so than I liked about the second season is that the first season was definitely a lot more lighthearted. It had a lot more jokes. It was a lot funnier, I feel, throughout.
Oh, absolutely.
Second season, it was definitely it was a lot more serious than the first season. And I get the need for it to be serious. I just wish that it had maintained that level of lightheartedness, that comedic value all the way throughout. Now, it did have its funny moments in there. And it did have its points where it was very comedic, where it was funny. It's just, it felt like it was a little bit far and few in between in comparison to the first season.
I agree. In my opinion, if they would have spaced the jokes out and spaced the drama in, laced it in a little bit more throughout the whole thing, I think the first season would not have been as appealing as I found it to be. The first season kind of endears you to each and every character. The second season kind of gives you a messed up backstory, damn near for everyone.
Yeah.
Further making you feel for for each individual character. And then they hit you with like a gut punch of just the most horrific of the backstories was for the teacher, and somehow it ties into like 2 or 3 students intimately, more so than just, well, I'm a crap student. And then you're like, oh my God, that's so sad. And they just hit you right in the feels. But I understand the need for it. I mean, heck, it served its purpose, in my opinion, because I watched this originally 2 or 3 years ago on a whim, and I'm still talking about it. And surprisingly, in my opinion, again, it holds up. Like, the anime holds true to being as enthralling and as appealing, if you will, as when I first started watching it. You know, some anime you watch and it's just like, yeah, it's good for a one shot, and then it stays in the memory, and you're like, it was fun, and you rewatched it, and you're like, what was I even thinking? This is absolute crap. So the animation quality throughout the season, the voice quality, and this is important to me, the dub and the sub are both really good. That doesn't happen often. Usually you'll have either a good dub with Yu Yu Hakusho, and when you listen to the sub, you're like, what the? No, the voice does not match at all. Whereas here, I don't know, that everyone they had just was on point, in my opinion.
I would agree. For this one, I actually went back and I watched a couple of the episodes in dub. And I gotta say, I was honestly not disappointed in it. I feel that the dubs did it real justice. They also finally gave clarification in the second season as to why Nagisa had his hair long like a girl. It's because of his mother. His mother wanted a daughter because she wasn't allowed to dress very feminine, and she wanted to have a daughter so that way she can dress her up feminine and everything like that. And so, surprise, you had a son, so she ended up making him pretty feminine. Now, when they show him 7 years after Koro-Sensei dies. They show it 7 years later. Everyone's an adult. He cuts his hair. He doesn't grow taller. But he does cut his hair. So he is a little bit masculine in that sense.
A little bit more masculine, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have the long pony, the long hair anymore at that point. But
and it's kind of funny because his greatest aspiration was to be like Koro-Sensei. And he ends up becoming a teacher of a really rough school. If this was a movie, this would be the teacher going, I can fix the projects, going to the projects, and then being like the shortest, teeniest, most underrated teacher in the entire school. And they've got a whole bunch of just really bad-looking kids, like definitely a rough crowd. And he's being super intimidated until one of them says something to the effect of, you're going to give us a rest period or we're going to kill you. And then he goes, oh, is that so? And he switches almost instantly into the, you could try to kill me, you bastard, but good luck with that. And I thought that transition in his mindset was one of the best things. I wish they would have expanded on that particular aspect just a little bit more.
I'm glad that they didn't. I'm glad they left that where it was. Otherwise, if they had delved into it more, because what ends up happening is when they tell him is like, look, you got to make this a study hall or we're going to kill you. He says, kill for other people that might intimidate them. That might scare them. But for us, for the assassination class, that's a trigger word. That's when business gets done. And they left it just like that. with him saying you're more than welcome to try. And if you and they left it at that, and which is great. I'm happy with that. They gave the conclusion the teacher's dead. They gave a viewpoint as to where everyone is at, or for that class at least, and then they moved on. That was it. They didn't draw it out. They didn't leave it open to interpretation or anything like that. They didn't throw in any extra detail. They rounded it up. They killed him, and I understand why he also wanted them to kill him, because in the second season they reference that some of the best success rates that came close were group efforts, and so if it was a group effort that killed him, it would be 30 billion yen, not just the 10. And so everyone just took a little bit of money that they needed, and then they donated the rest of it to like a broken down school and whatever else that they didn't need, because they were taught, it's like, look, we don't need money to survive in life. We just need to have ourselves and our own abilities to continue honing our second blade, so to speak.
One of the awesome subplots in this anime is that of the principal and his son, the perfectionist, and as best I can say, the tryhard, because no matter what he does, he can't seem to beat his dad and the principal. And he creates his own little clique of the elite, if you will. And it is mind-boggling to him that he's being challenged by Group E, or Class E. The worst class, the worst people in the entire school are challenging the top number one. And at every turn, his dad goes, "Are you sure you are in control here? Because it doesn't look like it. If you need to, I can step in, and I will not accept anything less than perfection."
And when he's saying that, he is actually taunting his son. He's not saying it in a term of endearment kind of way. He is saying that in a taunting way, as if saying, look, you need to make sure this doesn't happen, because if I step in, you're not going to be happy, because you're just going to prove to me that you are inferior.
And at the very end, you'd expect there to be like a nice reason for this, or absolution of the father's action. And no, you just have two previous students going, "Yeah, it sucked when we were working with you, but you taught me better for the long run. Thanks." And that's it. You're like, what? No. You don't get a happy ending. No. You were a crap instructor. You were a horrid father. And what? Because two kids decided that they'll tell you that you did right by them, it clears out the other 400 and something that just had their life destroyed by this guy. So, I mean, it is what it is, I guess. It's just doesn't make much sense. So
I get it. I mean, like it's his own, and they show the reason why he became like that, why he wanted to push his son to be basically perfect in every way that he could. I just think that maybe it was a little overkill.
That's how you create a serial killer. Yeah. That's how you create a top assassin, but not the good kind, if there is a good kind.
Yeah. Sure there is. It's the kind that doesn't kill me.
Yeah. Right? Jeez. So overall, what do you think of the anime? Would you rewatch it with somebody, by yourself?
So I would definitely recommend this to people. I would definitely recommend the anime to people for them to watch.
Would you watch it with them?
I would probably watch it with them. Probably. I don't know. A little too early to tell. We'll see. Give me a couple of months. And if we revisit this question, we'll see then.
Okay.
I would definitely recommend it to someone. I know you would definitely recommend it to your friends. I mean, like, you recommended it to me.
I have.
But on a scale of 0 to 5, I would give this. I would stick with my score from the last one. 4.5. 4.5.
Really?
Yes.
Why would you deduct a half a point?
I'm not deducting a half a point. I'm keeping it right where it's at.
Oh, no, I mean from 5.
I expected more from the ending, and this one did not maintain the level of comedic value that entranced me in the first season compared to the second season.
Okay. So other than the comedic value, is there anything that they could have improved on, do you think?
Probably. Maybe.
Like what?
I don't know. Maybe show a little bit more TNA.
That's what Bitch Sensei was for.
Hey. They started covering her up, mind you. All right. They started covering her up. What kind of crap was that?
Yeah, they did.
I do like, and I do like that Professor Bitch and Kurasama, the phys ed teacher, I am glad that they wrapped it up with them being married. Like they showed them like 7 years in the future, and they are married. So I'm glad they wrapped it up.
Yeah.
That they are indeed together. They ended up together. I'm happy with that.
The dynamic is still kind of funny though.
Oh yeah.
He's a hard ass, and she's just like, "You're the love of my life." He's like, "Look, do your job or don't. It doesn't bother me. I'll hire someone else to do it." And she goes, "No, I'll do it. You're such a slave driver. I love it."
Yeah, basically. What about
as far
you?
as my score goes, the first season gives a solid 4.5. Yeah. The second season, it's not perfect. I do admit. As an overarching score, I'm going to give it a 4.6, 4.7. And my reason for that is I think it's a 4.8 for the second season. Just because of how they drew me in and made me understand the motivation for each character in such a short time. Now, I say a short time, even though it was 24 episodes, 25 episodes, but to not really lose much of the momentum that they built on the first season as far as character development goes, and to go into a deeper, darker kind of storyline, and then to just make you go, damn, to make you feel lost when the teacher goes. That by itself is impressive to me. So the second part, I give a 4.8 out of 5. They lose 2 because, yeah, you're right. They could have kept the comedy going just a little bit longer, or they could have spaced it out better. But overall, 4.6, 4.7. So if I have the opportunity to do my dream and build my library and build my anime room, if you will, this would go right next to, where would I put it? It's not quite on the tier of Bleach and Naruto and Dragon Ball Z. So, to me, those are the 3 kings. But it would probably, I'd put this just under SAO. Yeah. If I were to own them, I'd put them just under SAO.
All right. Interesting thing about, since you bring it up, just to kind of let you know where my mind's at. Bleach, rumor is, they may bring it back.
They almost have to. They almost have to. Only because that was such a crap ending on the anime. I know we're getting off topic, but dear Lord, that was such a crap ending.
They've been doing a lot of publication, doing a lot of advertisements for it. The series is finally wrapped up in the manga. Also, for the Jump Force fighting game, they do the armor for the manga for what's happened after the anime. So there's a lot of advertisements out there for it. They're investing a lot of money trying to build up the interest for it. Mobile games, apps, things like that for it. I don't know. My only
concern with this moving forward is a while ago, when it was still going through the story, when the anime was still coming out weekly, I noticed almost arc by arc was I'm not going to say a carbon copy because it was different. I will agree, but it was a cookie cutter version of Yu Yu Hakusho. When I watched Yu Yu Hakusho, I started seeing different similarities between Bleach and that, and I said, okay, so he's probably going to go here, do this, and that's going to happen. And lo and behold, it did almost every single time. Yu Yu Hakusho kind of tapered out on the final season. Bleach is really good. I do not want it to taper out. It's got a lot of fillers and filler arcs that were unnecessary and don't really contribute to the main story. But yeah, the manga, I finished the manga. I am unsatisfied with that conclusion. However, if they change it and tweak it just so in the anime, it would become, again, top tier. Because originally you had the 3 kings: Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball franchise, One Piece, and Naruto. The fourth king was there, which was Bleach, but that lost popularity hard. Now I realize they're trying to come back, like you're saying, and I hope they do, because just the stuff they've got going on after the manga closes, the realization, the shock and awe that they just throw at you is potentially beautiful.
Yeah.
I just hope they keep the same voice actors.
Never know. Never know. Well, I think that about wraps it up for today, though. Feel free to let us know what you thought of Assassination Classroom. You can reach us at feudalanimepodcast@gmail.com. You can also tweet at us because we are a little bit social at feudalanimepod. But as for next week, we are actually going to be watching Yona of the Dawn. It is a action, adventure, comedy, fantasy, romance, shoujo anime. It's going to be 24 episodes long, and it came out in autumn of 2014. Looks pretty interesting. I haven't seen it. Rick, you were saying you saw this?
I actually have. I remember watching it as it was coming out on Crunchyroll.
So till next time, have a great day.
Later, man.